What are your thoughts on this? The Pistons are 155 thousandths in the hole at the time of day TDC, which indicates that they are performing well. It's 7.5 to 1, if you're wondering. 7.3. Isn't it true that a tenth of a point matters when it comes to friends? When it comes to engine masters, the individuals at West Tech Performance have put virtually every engine known to man through rigorous testing and dynoing, extracting every last bit of performance that each engine is capable of providing. In each and every episode of the show, the science of engine performance is dissected, and viewers are instructed on how to make the most of the capabilities of any engine. On the other hand, production on Engine Masters was halted without any announcement being made to Motor Trend after 8 seasons of unprecedented success. Is it possible that this is connected to Steve Bruhl's retirement, or might it be the result of a downward trend that Motor Trend has been experiencing? Join us as we reveal the true reason why Engine Masters came to an end from the perspective of the audience. Since it first aired in 2015, Engine Masters has been putting engines through their paces to the fullest extent possible. Essentially, the Expo is the most comprehensive place for evaluating parts. Getting the maximum amount of power out of a certain engine family is the primary objective of this system. In the inaugural episode of Engine Masters, the men from West Tech Performance demonstrated how a single bolt-on could give an additional 50 horsepower to a 4000 CI Chevy small block crate engine. This was the beginning of the show. This is something that I come across on the internet quite frequently, individuals claiming that it is impossible to operate a tunnel ram on the street. For high RPM alone, it is the case. That is not going to be successful. At this particular moment, I am going to take a risk and say that when we run this on our Blueprint 400, it is going to generate more power at each and every point in the curve than that dual plane. Once that point is reached, the premise was easy to understand. Spend some time having fun as you learn the truth about the components of the engine. Engine Masters was able to engage viewers over the course of multiple seasons thanks to its in-depth content and the incredible on-screen connection that existed between the characters that presented the show. The debut of the Engine Masters competition was a significant factor in the show's rise to popularity among viewers. Engine builders were put against one another and made to compete on a dyno to determine who could generate the greatest horsepower. This was done in order to demonstrate their abilities in a manner that was both distinctive and exciting. On the other hand, Engine Masters was first a magazine distributed by Hot Rod long before it was adapted into a television show. These three individuals are the driving force behind the publication known as Engine Masters magazine: David Fryberger, Steve Dulcich, and Steve Bruhl. In spite of the fact that it was a magazine, these three individuals did more than just write articles. They also influenced the future of engine performance for lovers of automobiles. The entirety of the episodes of Engine Masters are shot at West Tech Performance, which is located in the state of California. West Tech Performance was not founded by Steve Bruhl, despite the widespread misconception to the contrary inside the industry. John Bechtel, who had previously served as the editor of Hot Rod magazine, came up with the concept of establishing West Tech in 1993. He envisioned West Tech as the answer to the problem of doing objective engine testing for magazine articles. In order to bring West Tech to reality, Bechtel collaborated with Rick Stoner, and it was Rick's boyhood connection to Steve Bruhl that ultimately led to Steven joining the team. When Steve and Rick were growing up in Albuquerque, they went to the same speed shops, which led to the formation of a friendship between them because of their mutual appreciation for fast vehicles and engines. During the course of approximately 3 years, Steve had the opportunity to assist Rick with his engine projects at West Tech. By January 1999, Steve had established himself as such a consistent employee at the dyno shop that he was extended an offer to work there on a full-time basis. In response to the fact that he was being considered for a full-time position, Steve relocated to California, where he would eventually become the foundation of West Tech Performance and ultimately contribute to the success of Engine Masters. The company that was about to become a legendary institution in the world of performance engines was able to benefit from his expertise and his unwavering commitment to hard work. Within the realm of engine masters, it is without a doubt Steve Bruhl who is the one who delivers a unique kind of enchantment. The skill that Steve possesses is not merely a bonus for West Tech Performance, rather. It is the very core of the business. Steve is the center of the operation. Throughout the hot rod workplace, Steve is commonly referred to as the card whisperer. In addition to being able to alter a fuel metering device, he is also capable of tuning it with a level of precision that goes beyond the realm of the supernatural. It is almost as if his ears are perfectly tuned to pick up on the sound that every engine is meant to make when it is operating properly. He has the ability to know, almost instinctively, when an engine is on the approach of a catastrophic failure, and he is able to click the abort button on an engine dyno before anything else goes wrong. Due to the fact that Steve Bruhl has been with West Tech Performance since its inception, he has been able to observe the development of Engine Masters from its humble beginnings as a magazine to its current status as a highly popular television show. During that time period, Steve Bruhl, along with his future co-hosts Steve Dulcich and David Fryberger, were working as writers and editors for Engine Masters magazine. They were responsible for analyzing engine performance for the benefit of fans and print media. Not only did Dulcich serve as the editor of the magazine for a few years, but he also shaped the journal's content and vision. The team's realization that video content had the ability to reach a much broader audience than printing ever could was the moment that marked the turning point in their communication. This opportunity was recognized by David Fryberger, who then proceeded to take action. When it comes to Engine Masters, David Fryberger is on par with Steve Bruhl in terms of importance. As a result of his appearances on a variety of other television shows that are related to automobiles, he is a well-known figure in the automotive industry. Since the year 1991, David has been actively connected with Hot Rod magazine, which is more than 3 decades. Up until the point where he eventually became the main editor of the magazine, he held a number of different positions as a host on radio and television shows. The idea of turning Engine Masters into a television show was proposed by David with the objective of portraying the exhilaration of engine performance on screen. They produced a pilot with Fryberger himself serving as the host, and by the time it was given the go-ahead, the show was already on the air, providing viewers and fans alike with a source of entertainment for what would eventually become 8 successful seasons. For Steve Bruhl and Steve Dulcich, the transfer to television was a natural continuation of the work that they had been doing for the past 20 years. The display was not simply a presentation of what they knew, rather. It was the product of years spent making adjustments to engines, putting ideas to the test, and pushing the boundaries of performance. They were able to bring what they had created in print to life with Engine Masters on TV, which gave them the opportunity to share their enthusiasm with millions of viewers. Engine Masters as a show has proven to be easier to manage than when it was a magazine that was published by Hot Rod. This is despite the fact that I have spent years working in the magazine industry and am quite familiar with the format. Reality television, which is a format that does not follow a script, provides a platform for these hosts to demonstrate their genuine enthusiasm for automobiles. At one point in time, they were able to generate about 2,000 horsepower from a twin-turbo 4.6-liter modified engine. When this engine was put to use as the core of a vehicle, it was incredibly quick. In order to film each episode of the Engine Masters series, the host claims that it just requires one good idea to do so. However, when the show was a magazine, each issue required at least 20 conceptions. This style, which is based on reality television and is not scripted, enables the presenter to totally immerse themselves in their enthusiasm about engines without the need for drama or over-the-top theatrics. By maintaining their authenticity, they remain faithful to the principles that they adhered to when they were working in the magazine industry. At this very moment, they have access to a platform that enables them to demonstrate their expertise in a manner that is both more natural and engaging. Despite this, Engine Masters has been a fan favorite for a very long time as a television show. It regularly produces an astonishing 26 episodes per season, which is twice as many as the original. This is owing to the show's tremendous early success. The event prospered, cranking out content like a well-oiled machine. Thanks to the tight-knit crew at West Tech Performance, the consistent site, and a laser focus on engines alone. Its strict filming schedule is one that only a few car shows are able to handle, but thanks to the consistent location, the show thrived. Nevertheless, after the publication of the 8th season of Engine Masters, the development of the show abruptly came to a halt, leaving fans dissatisfied and in the dark. After the news of Steve Bruhl's retirement became public, there was a great deal of speculation that the show's fate was connected to his choice to leave West Tech Performance. Many people believed that this was the case. It is important to remember that Steve was more than just a presenter, he was the very essence of the engine dyno room. David Fryberger, the creator of Engine Masters, took to Facebook in order to clarify the situation in reaction to the rising misconceptions that were being spread about the game. He expressed his admiration for the man he had worked beside for the past quarter of a century in a message that was filled with emotion and dubbed Steve's passing the end of an era. Despite the fact that Steve, also known as the Dyno Brain and the go-to expert on all things engine tuning, was really hanging up his wrenches. Fryberger told fans that West Tech Performance would continue its operations and that all of the recognizable faces, with the exception of Steve, would continue to be part in future projects. Even though Fryberger made it abundantly clear that Steve's retirement was not the reason for the show's production halt, viewers couldn't help but wonder if his departure played a role in the decision to cease production. As of right now, the Engine Masters that a lot of people have grown to adore is no longer on the air because there is no immediate intention to bring it back. During this break, there may have been a number of causes that led to it. The first of these factors is that when Engine Masters was originally released, it was publicly accessible on YouTube, which allowed it to attract a significant number of followers. However, as the popularity of the show steadily increased, Motor Trend transitioned to a model that was dependent on subscriptions, which may have contributed to a decrease in viewership. Furthermore, after 8 seasons of testing nearly every engine with the Spark plug, it is possible that the show has reached a point where the benefits of doing so are waning. By continuing, there is a possibility of repeating information, which is something that devoted fans would not like. Despite the fact that the future of Engine Masters is still unknown, there is one thing that is guaranteed. There is no denying the significance of the show among people who are passionate about automobiles and engines, regardless of whether or not it is brought back. Steve Bruhl's retirement has made a significant impact. The only thing that fans can do is hope that this pause is just temporary, and that the squad will come back with new ideas and new engines from which to conquer.